recent article goes over what they consider to be the 6 best places to be a landlord in the year 2025. I'm going to tell you what I think of the whole situation. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting topic for you today, and it has to do with the best places to be a landlord in the year 2025. Now, obviously, the rental market has changed a lot. Interest rates are a lot higher than they were just a few years ago. And, looking off into the future for those people who do not want to invest in their hometown, maybe you want to think about long distance real estate investing somewhere that is much more landlord friendly. Okay, I've done it personally. I used to own rental properties in Kansas City. I used to own rental properties in Phoenix, Arizona, and in Tucson, Arizona, while I lived out of state. So I know how to do it. It's not that difficult. And that is my suggestion for those of you who live in places that, like California or New York, where they treat landlords like garbage, period. Or if you live in a place like where just the rental housing market isn't what you would want it to be. Now, I have no problems if you want to invest in your home, if you're a small landlord and you're like, hey, I've got a house right here that I can just easily manage, and the tenant I'll put in there will be good and all that. I just worry that the time for you to be a small landlord that can just do this as a part-time job, it's slowly coming to an end in some of these places. Okay, so before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. So what would you consider to be some of the best places across the entire country to invest in real estate? Okay, I'm just curious. I think obviously Kansas City is a great place to be a real estate investor, but I'm starting to see a lot of negative stuff coming out of there. They have all these strong tenant unions coming out, and they're passing all these far left-leaning laws. But I would say I would avoid Kansas City itself and maybe invest in the suburbs around it still. Kansas and Missouri are both very landlord-friendly states. And you know what? I think that it's still worth it to invest down there. If you know the laws and you're okay with some of the new stuff that's coming, you might even say Kansas City itself. But what do you think? Okay. But anyway, let me get into this article, see what their professionals say about the whole, which place is best to invest in. Now, I picked this article up from AOL.com, but it's actually from GoBankingRates.com, and it says, Best U.S. cities to be a landlord in early 2025. Let's get into it. As we look ahead to the real estate landscape of early 2025, landlords and property investors are looking to identify the most promising markets. While our previous analysis of the best cities for landlords in 2024 provided valuable insights, the dynamic nature of real estate means new opportunities are always emerging. Let's explore what experts are predicting for the upcoming year and which cities are poised to offer the best returns for landlords. And as we go through this, think about the cities that you would include, and then think about the cities that are not listed here. That's kind of telling in and of itself. The cities that they include in this list and the ones that are not included in this list. Remember, this is the top 6. So, one of the cities you like might be number 7 for all we know. But anyway, let's get into it. The first one they mention is Columbus, Ohio, the rising star. Thomas Brock, chartered financial analyst, certified public accountant, and expert for annuity.org, has his eye on Columbus, Ohio. Columbus is going to be one of the best U.S. cities to be a landlord in the very near term, he said. Over the past decade, it has been one of the fastest growing metro areas in the U.S. Brock pointed to several factors that make Columbus attractive: a swelling population, reasonable cost of living, ongoing economic expansion, and major investment from companies like Amazon and Intel. And when I think of Columbus, I think of the Ohio city that has the least problems. Okay, so whereas Columbus and Toledo, or not Columbus, but Cleveland and Toledo and Cincinnati are all kind of known as being declining, Columbus has always been kind of a more vibrant place, okay? And I think that's due to the fact that I believe their major university is located within the city of Columbus. So, when you look at these cities they list today, a lot of them have these same factors, okay? They have a major university within the city limits, and they happen to be the state capital. Now, these two factors alone mean that they have a more stable economy than cities that have economy that's based more on industry or some other type of business. So that's part of the reason why a lot of these cities are listed here. But anyway, let's go on to the next city, and it's a city that I mentioned that I used to invest in, Phoenix, Arizona. So Sebastian Jania, owner of Ontario Property Buyers, sees Phoenix as a hotspot for landlords. Phoenix also offers a robust employment market and a cheap cost of living, which draw more and more individuals to the region. For landlords, this means a constant flow of prospective tenants and a low vacancy rate, he explained. Phoenix is undoubtedly a top option for landlords due to its rising economy and landlord-friendly legal structure. Yeah, costs in Phoenix have gotten a lot higher in the recent past. Now, when I started investing there, and I'm talking about, back in 2014 is when I started looking at properties there, and I bought my first one. Properties were cheap. I mean, it was just as cheap as it is here in Omaha, Nebraska. Now, it's quite a bit more expensive there than it is in Omaha, but, it's still, if you compare it to a place like California, I mean, the prices are way, way less than that, and it is still within reason, okay? And part of the reason it's within reason is because the area is humongous, okay? You have multiple counties, you have an area of over 5 million people, you got a very business-friendly, developer-friendly environment, and, great weather, so, your utility costs are gonna be a lot lower there. I mean, it was a great place. I loved living in Arizona, and I think this is still a good place to invest. I made a ton of money when I left, though, because of the appreciation. So I was quite glad to sell my properties, but you know what? I still think that landlords will make money there. Nashville, Tennessee, music to landlords' ears. Nashville is hitting all the right notes for landlords, according to Jania. With a robust job market and quickly expanding population, Nashville's economy has been thriving, he said. There is significant demand for rental apartments in the city due to the influx of young professionals and entrepreneurs. And Nashville is one of those cities where, it's been blowing up for a while now. Nashville, like I said before, it's also a capital city, okay? Capital of Tennessee. So when you have the more stable economy from being a capital city, having major universities, etc., then you're going to see massive growth. Phoenix is also a capital city. I forgot to mention that. And there's a major university, Arizona State is in Tempe. So it's pretty obvious that, these cities on this list, they're there for a reason. Now, Arizona and Phoenix in particular, going back to them, they are also benefiting from a lot of Californians moving there. But when we come to Tennessee, remember, Tennessee is one of the very few states that has no state income tax. And that's why a lot of people and businesses have decided to move there recently. Of course, they got great music scene, etc. And, I've been through the state. Beautiful. Okay, I absolutely loved it there. The forest, the trees. I thought the state was beautiful. Okay, so, my personal opinion, I wouldn't mind living in Nashville area. So, I think it's a good place to invest. Like I said, landlord-friendly place as well. Charlotte, North Carolina. Jania also highlighted Charlotte's potential. Charlotte's somewhat low property taxes and landlord-friendly legislative structure make it a desirable location for landlords. In the early months of 2025, Charlotte is unquestionably a place to think about investing in due to its robust rental market and expanding economy, he explained. And Charlotte is one of the few places on this list that is not a state capital, okay? I can't quite remember what the capital of North Carolina is. Is it Raleigh? Yeah, but, it's not the state capital, but, they've been booming for a while now, and they're one of those places, like when they're talking about the places that are booming, this is one of them. And, being a landlord-friendly place on top of that, there we go. Perfect example of a place that you could buy real estate that isn't New York City, that, is it Los Angeles, California, or Boston, or one of these places where they treat landlords like garbage. Now, Denver. Denver's appeal goes beyond its scenic beauty. Denver is a desirable option for landlords due to its strong rental income, potential, and landlord-friendly legal structure. Denver is an excellent location for a landlord to invest in because of its robust economy and high standard of living, Jania said. Now, this is one I disagree on because I've covered so many just changes to the law, and the place is becoming so much less landlord-friendly. Now, if we were talking about several years back, it would have been much better place to invest. Now, I'm not saying that all places within the Denver metro area are bad to invest. No, I think that it is, if we're talking about in terms of strong rental market, strong growth, a strong economy within the area, I believe Denver, it meets all those things. The thing that I'm concerned with is, what is the writing on the wall when it comes to landlord rights? And the writing on the wall is landlords are losing their rights, and they're making it much more difficult to be a landlord there. Salt Lake City, a landlord's heaven. Seamus Nally, CEO of Turbo Tenant, puts Salt Lake City in the spotlight. Salt Lake City is pretty great city to be a landlord, he said. There are minimal rent control regulations and pretty relaxed landlord laws. Plus, homeowner insurance costs are well below the average, Nally added. A lot of Salt Lake City landlords actually benefit from the demand, as it frequently leads to bidding wars. While these cities show promise, it's important to remember successful real estate investing requires more than just picking the right location. And I don't know enough about Salt Lake City to say whether it's good or bad, but we know Utah is a much more landlord-friendly place than, a lot of other states, okay? And that's good. We know that the economy there is strong and growing. The questions I have are, what kind of laws are they passing? How does it look going off into the future? And, what are the housing costs there? That's the other thing. When I talk about the best place to be a landlord, I talk about the barriers to entry, especially for small mom and pop landlords. What are they? And can I just go to a place like Utah and find a house that I can buy and rent out easily? And if I can't, it doesn't matter how great the economy is there. But, if you know more about Salt Lake City, put it in the comments section down below and let me know what you think of this entire list.